Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and I'm just out here making some videos just to get out of the house, really. I don't know how much I put on this channel about my health, any updates or anything, but I did wind up finally going to the right place. Yeah, all hospital ERs should have been the right place, but they weren't. And I finally went to the right one that they diagnosed me. He said, I know exactly what this is. He'd already, run some tests and everything. He said, and he called it heart failure. He didn't call it congestive heart failure. He called it heart failure. And the cardiologist I had called it the same, heart failure. Didn't call it congestive heart failure. But I don't know what the difference is. Overall, they both said that it's not it's more like it's a warning to me. Okay, it was hey, hello, you gotta really watch what you eat with as far as sodium intake. So I'm like, okay, I'm clear to go back to work. I'm clear to go back to doing physical therapy, and I'm doing the physical therapy. I'm still on Lasix, and I probably will be the rest of my life. Because I asked him, I said, are they planning on keeping me on this forever? And he said, I think so. So, I don't know what all that means, but it's working great for me. It is averaging about right at a pound a day. It's taking off of, fluid. People call it water weight. I had been complaining for how long now about, remember me saying in 2023, and this is 2025, this time, actually, well, almost this time, well, 2 more months, it would be 2 years that I first complained about the swelling in my, abdominal swelling, and, your tummy, as some people call it, your stomach, that area. And I had problems related to the swelling. And that's why I would go to the ER. I went 3 times, twice in May, 1 in June, and they didn't say anything. It was more like crickets. It was what they said were stupid stuff. Seriously, it was just But anyway, finally went to the right one. He said what I thought too, and what my physical therapist thought. And she was the one that really kind of pushed me. Hello, look how big this is. She was doing my leg, my right leg, for a monthly. I'd only been, I think, 2 or 3 times by then, but a monthly re-eval. She said, your leg's so swollen. I was fixated on that knee when I was in the hospital ER waiting. Like fixated totally. Because it was so huge. Both of my knees were huge, but the right one just seemed, it was like 3 times the size. Couldn't see the actual knee bones. Couldn't see them. And I always see mine. It was just like, whoa. And anyway, they did a Lasix injection, and that day I lost, 3 pounds. That kept me there for like a couple of hours, really. And since then, it's been averaging about a pound a day. Some days, none. So, you see what I'm saying? Okay, anyway. So, that stuff, there's that. And other than that, I haven't gone back to work yet. I'm going to, we've been having a lot here in Texas, north of Dallas. We've been having a lot of red flag warnings, which I've never heard of before. But it's because of they're not calling it a drought, although I think they should. But high winds and fire hazard. And our winds are pretty bad too. Seriously. And I'm not going to do that. And try to drive in the wind. Right. Not happening. Not again. And plus I'm getting new tires on my SUV. You know, this is the second time I've made this video, and I'm afraid I'm repeating myself, and I'm going to say, oh, I already said that in this one. It can happen. It can happen. You know, like in the one I just made, I mentioned this about feeling like a little bit, not like, I don't know what to call it. Like I do not know what to call it. It's a little mix of, I would say like a haze, foggy brain, a little bit of haze, a little bit of shock, all mixed together to blend to make something. I can do everything, just, you know, that I've been doing for eons. Drive, cook, yesterday Adam and I went and bought groceries. And I actually went there, walked around, and I was testing myself on purpose. And, you know, like I said, I was cleared for all this physical therapy and work and everything. So, I'm not given any limitations, just to watch and see if I have any problems like that. The way he put it was that made me go to the ER in the first place. And that was the cardiologist, not the cardiologist there, but the cardiologist I saw. It's a follow-up. My new cardiologist. So, but anyway, I wanted to get all that stuff out. I also wanted to say, you know, all this time, this stuff going on, at some point I stopped, really just stopped caring about, you know, things like YouTube. You know, I have these channels because I was doing this, you know, it was enjoyment to me, or just something to do, you know, like especially through 2020 and 2021. And with a rare health condition, I was one that had to stay home. And, you know, something that was keeping me busy, and I had all these different channels. You know, I've been making videos. My original channel is over 10 years now. August was 10 years. And I just really just kind of lost interest in all of it. Because this stuff was so much on my mind. And plus all the drama with Adam's family. Oh my gosh. You know, it didn't end with just his niece. Seriously. That's one person I do not have a problem calling a sociopath. I do not know. And her mother, a psychopath. I do not have a problem at all. And you know how I am, so strict. Don't diagnose. Well, those are different these days of what they diagnose. I'm not going to diagnose her with antisocial personality disorder, but I'm going to say she's a freaking sociopath. Somebody try to, yeah. I've ranted enough about that in the past. That's done, over with. And by the way, all that time, it was 2.5 years, when his niece he was 31, you know, she wasn't staying with us the whole time, but just the threat of her coming to visit was enough. But my blood pressure was high. And, I mean, like almost immediately after she left the country, and she's not going to return. But, I mean, why would they let her back? She got kicked out she got kicked out of the program at the university, and that's what she was on. It was you know, that visa. So why else would she be here, you know? But anyway, hold on. Okay, where was I? But anyways, you know, since all that, and my blood pressure went down to normal. Let me just put there. My blood pressure is normal. And now it's a little bit low because they have me on the Lasix, on that Lasix stuff. And it's a little bit below normal, but mine, before all this stuff started, mine was always a little below normal. Okay, so I'm like, okay, now I'm getting back to normal. But yeah, stress is something bad for me, definitely. But you know, my original health, I always want to call it original, but my rare health condition, it was due to early childhood trauma, just the stress of it all. Early childhood abuse. I mean, real early. by the time I was in kindergarten, I knew something was not normal about me and me and this other little girl. You know, we were actually in the line with all the other girls to go to the restroom, and we both looked at one another and thought, we're not like the rest of them. You know, we had a discussion because we're both tall, and you know, we went through school together. I've mentioned all that before, but we went through all the way through graduation, high school. So, but when you know you're a little bit different, and that's what it is, it makes you a little bit different. I'd say a lot of bit different, but hey, physically. And the one thing that all that, I still say, at least I had one thing that all of the trauma and drama and trauma, yeah, all that I went through, it gave me a brain, you know, an impressive IQ, basically to help keep me alive, if you ask me. But anyway, okay, to get back on that, what I wanted to talk about was, you know, all this stuff, you know, not messing with my channels much, not really. You know, I would make videos and I'd just throw them up and make videos on my cell phone, throw them up like I did anything different before. But really, you know, some of it was just repeating the same thing like I'm doing today. Today I'm doing it on purpose. Then it was just, that's all that what it was going on. And I just needed to vent so much, you know, just to keep my sanity with all the craziness caused by his family. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. But yeah, but how many times I want to say that? Yeah, but now to get to now, I noticed, you know, I've been doing a little bit more paying attention to the analytics again. You know, I used to like that. It used to be kind of fun for me to see what works, what doesn't. Just, you know, I use my channels to vent. Okay, pressure release valve, like I said. So it's not like I'm trying to, you know, make money off of it or anything like that, any of them. But I am curious how that membership works. I am curious, I will say that. I'm curious how the membership works. But this channel, if I put on the right one, that's not ever going to happen, because these days, there is somebody watching all my old videos. It's like one at a time, you know, each day probably. They're short. They're a lot shorter than they are now. I mean, I used to only do them like 3 minutes. And just so there's just a few a day. And I mean, that's all that there is. That's all that there is. People watching. In the past, it used to be all those videos. I had so many of them. And people would watch them. You know, I would say that it was putting it out there for people to watch. What is that called? Impressions or something like that? It's been a while. It's been years since I paid attention to all that analytics stuff. So I don't even remember the names of them. I don't even remember how do you find out certain things on there. And I used to promote, not promote like YouTube calls promote, but I used to put them on Facebook. Don't do that anymore. Haven't done it in years. So I think every once in a while I would do it, every blue moon, but not very much. Maybe one here, go months would go by, maybe another one. So, but I haven't done any of that, and it's pretty much dead. You know, some people call stuff like that shadow banned, but I would say that mine is just that I've not been doing anything with it, and some of those videos are, well, let's see, this would be the 10th year, so, you know, not on my original one, I'm talking about this one, almost 10 years. So at some point people stop watching those. Or they're just going to stop promoting them or whatever, I would think. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I had to turn it off because it was a young woman. I think she's an adult. But she was walking her dog. It's real windy. She was wearing one of those, you know, the shirts that they show the belly. It shows your belly button, What a cute name for that. But and it was windy, and I'm like, girl, that was not what you should be wearing. I don't think she cares. Anyway, so I turned it off. Don't need that in my video. But anyway, you know, those analytics, it's just interesting to me. It was before, and I'm glad that my brain is getting back to where I'm saying that's interesting to me again. Because seriously, I've been worried about myself for how many years has it been? Really? You know, I could say these two that, you know, next month will be 2 years since I started noticing something wasn't right. And so I don't know. I don't know if it was before then. I remember all these problems I was having, like going to the grocery store. It still happens, by the way. Just depends on which grocery store. And there's the smell on the groceries is the stuff that they admit it, the stuff that they clean the shelves with, and it's the fumes. Like they clean, they said the bottom part, and that's close to the ground. They clean like a shield over, I guess, the motor or whatever, you know, because they're the refrigerated ones, shelves. They clean that with some smelly. It smells like like I've smelled it before of Indian male cologne. Okay, Indian male cologne. And it's real, to me, it's just pure odor, but all perfumes, I have perfume allergies. That's how they smell to me. They smell like a horrible odor, no matter what country or what. It's not exactly the way it goes, huh? But no matter who makes it, they all smell like odor, you know, pretty much all of them. And sprays, anything like that. You know, fragrances, no, I have allergies really bad, can kill me, kind of bad. And so that's on my food. And I've actually had it on the head of lettuce, you know, it had plastic on it, took the plastic off of it, and it was on the leaves of the lettuce, that smell. I complained about them, remember? I went through a whole thing of complaining, didn't do anything. You still go to the same stores. It was actually every store that I went to, because I tried all the, what are they called? You know, the ones that are not exactly, they're chain stores, but they're not exactly in here in the United States in every place. But some of them are. And didn't matter. It was in every place. Okay. So I went through that. I mean, like I said, it's not stopped. When you smell that, and I mean, logically, excuse me. Okay, logically, you would think that at some point they, you know, when somebody's actually telling them, asking them, do you think it's a good idea for food to have this chemical smell on it? Seriously. You would think they would catch on. Speaking of catching on, I'm going a little lighter on myself if I don't catch on about certain things. You know, given what's been going on these past few years, it did feel like a, how do I put it? Like I had to constantly worry about my survival and dealing with people, these so-called healthcare providers, professionals, where, when, you know, they're just unbelievable. I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying the ones I dealt with, and pretty much all of those. And including, you know, the day that I went to the correct ER, I'm saying correct because they actually diagnosed. You know, it was more like crickets. And anyway, that day, I went from my physical therapist, and she said, you really need to contact your doctor. Contacted my doctor, and they said their office, and they said that they would send over a message to the doctor, and somebody there would definitely return my call by the next day. Did not happen. I didn't wait till the next day. I went home. I did contact him from home, and then I ate and fell asleep. Sleep was something that just wasn't happening. Not right, and it's still not right. You know, like sleep through the night, no, still not happening. But because of the, the everything that was involved, the water and all that, it was in my lungs, and as it is, nobody but the correct ER finally explained it to me. I'm not an expert on it, so don't think that I may have said something. Think that I may have said something wrong. I'm not an expert on it. What I say could be wrong. But from there, I went to, after I woke up, I went to a, the doctor hadn't called their office, so I went to a what's it called? Urgent care, and they heard me as I walked in. I parked right against the building, and all I had to do was like walk to that stop sign. Walk to that stop sign in front of me, like that far, and that's all I had to do. And to get into the office, I just turned the corner, and it's right there into their office, and I was breathing so heavy, and I kept telling the woman, that was checking me, and she just kept staring at me. And I think she went back and she told the I don't know whether it's an MA or a nurse that would come out and get the people. And she came out the last, and I was the only one there, and I waved at her to come, my fingers said, come here, will you? Because I couldn't, I don't know, like I said, where was my brain? I don't know. I mean, I was functioning, drove myself there, functioning to fill out the paperwork, functioning everything, but, I told her, I said, I started talking, she goes, ma'am, we're not going to see you. She was very friendly. She was not being sarcastic. She was a very friendly woman, and she said, you need to go right straight to the ER. And now you would think I would ask her then, if this part didn't function, ask her then, which one? But instead, I remember there was one, so I went out into my SUV, and I called the other ER, the one I used to go to all the time. And they said, well, let me hook you to this nurse. So they sent me to this nurse, and I said, which one do I go to? And it's a heart. That nurse, or MA, whatever she was, she had said it seems like it's your heart. And so I told this nurse that, and I said, which one would I go to? Which ER? And she said, Google it. Dealing with stuff like that, I'm telling you, that was it for me. I said, I want to know your name. Well, I want to know your name. I said, I'm calling you corporate office. I'm letting them know what you said to me. Google it? Well, I want your name. I'm usually not one to speak that way. Kind of maybe sometimes. The nerve. Somebody who's dealing with a heart problem was just told to go to the ER with a heart problem, and you're going to say, Google it? I hope she got fired. I didn't call, by the way, the corporate office. But I hope somebody there heard her and she got fired. I really do. People like that do not need jobs. They do not need jobs supposedly helping people who are having health issues. Nobody needs that kind of smart aleck remark. And look, she could be wasting my time, precious time, to get to there if it was something even more serious. She's going to tell me to Google it? So they connected. So I called back another one, and they connected me to a guy, and I told him, and I told him what she did, and I said, what is this? Why can't anybody tell me which hospital do I go to? Because the different hospitals have different focus. you know, a different focus. And he gave me the address real fast. I said, thank you. Now I can kind of laugh at it. Then I wasn't laughing at it. You know, but like I said before, I'm so mild-mannered, it's kind of funny altogether. But that's ridiculous. You know, these 2 years have been ridiculous. These 25 years of having been diagnosed with this rare health condition and constantly having problems with supposed healthcare providers throwing temper tantrums because they don't want to deal with somebody with that healthcare. Okay, that healthcare issue. Seriously, that's what they do. They throw temper tantrums. I'm not going to call them anything else. Temper tantrums. And this whole thing of people saying, well, poor bedside manner, throw that out the door. It's verbal abuse, plain and simple. Pretty much every bit of it, verbal abuse. Okay, so I got riled up again. And speaking of which, I basically it's not like it's riling me up anymore. You know, I say things like that. It's more like, how do I put it? It's not like it's stressing me out. There's something that happened during all this. It's like, you know, you can read up enough about that whenever a person goes through something that, you know, like this. There's a level of maturity that happens and understanding and all this. It changes a person, to make it brief. And it did. It has changed me quite a bit. Yeah. It just did. Made me not get so riled up, not get so stressed out. Just more like saying, man, shaking my head and moving on. You know, and make videos, and when I say stuff like that, is verbal abuse. Calling a spade a spade. I mean, there might be exceptions, you know, to every rule, but it's some form of verbal abuse. When your supposed healthcare provider is more like jerk. Google it. Seriously. Anyway, I think I've done enough, but yeah, I think I'm going to get back. I see myself, you know, moving toward this. That little squirrel over there is so active, my goodness. Wasn't it walking across that roof, and now it's walking down the sidewalk in the other direction. It's busy. It's busy. But anyway, I could see a squirrel moment. It was literally a squirrel moment. But I could see myself getting back into fun things for me instead of this kind of focus. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.